Hi, this is Pancho Tomaselli. Hold on. With an A, and you're watching for basspleyersonly.com. Yeah.
Hi everyone, John Liebman here. You're watching for basspleyersonly.com. We're coming to you from the G&L booth at the 2019 Winter NAMM Show with our old friend Pancho Tomaselli. Hola, Pancho.
¿Cómo estamos? ¿Cómo estamos? My dear friend John here and his son behind the cameras, kicking it for the bass players as usual.
Well, let's kick it together for a few minutes here. We did a great interview. You know, that was 2012, believe it or not. We were out in a parking lot behind Bass Player Live, and the whole story of your upbringing in Ecuador, your work at Berkeley, you were at Virgin Records, I think, as in the A&R department. You were playing with War. You told me about the band Film, P-H-I-L-M, and a bunch of other cool stuff. Just put in Pancho with an A, P-A-N-C-H-O, in the little search thing on for basspleyersonly.com. That whole interview will come up. It's a video interview. It's a good one. But that was a few years ago, and I know you're doing a lot of things that are very exciting, and we want to hear about them. So tell us, what's keeping you busy, Pancho?
Well, first of all, thank you for the interview. We love for basspleyersonly.com, and it was great. I mean, last we spoke, I was doing the War gig, I was doing film. Jerry and I are still doing film. We got a new album coming out, and I got to sub for Rocco Prestia and Tower for a couple of tours. Dave Garibaldi called me, and they needed a little hand, and it's Uncle Rocco, so I couldn't say no. It was stressful because there was no rehearsal. They just sent me a CD with an hour and a half set, no charts. So I had to memorize everything. I got one of my students to write me charts because I was on the road when that was happening. So when I came back, they had a bunch of charts for me and memorized them. And then we did the gigs, and that was amazing. It changed my perspective.
Did you play What Is Hip?
We play, I don't do covers. So the first time I played What Is Hip, I'm still a young man. Yeah. It was with Tower. The first time I played La Bamba was with Los Lobos. The first time I played Low Rider was with War. The first time I played House of the Rising Sun was with Eric Burden at Royal Albert Hall. So it's like, because I don't do covers, it's like I feel it takes away from what I could discover about my own sound, But if they pay me, or if it's Dave Garibaldi asking me to help Tower, then yes.
That is quite an honor. Well deserved.
I mean, it got to the point where Rocco would be on the audience, he'd come in, take the bass away from me, play one song, give it back. He signed my bass. Rocco is, to me, one of my biggest influences. More than Jacko, more than him and B.B. Dickerson from War are like, that's my, and Family Man from Marley. That's about it.
Family Man, yeah. I interviewed Rocco a couple of times. We did an interview at a Summer NAMM show, and there's a shot of us laughing. It was just really fun to be around, and what an icon.
Rocco it's like the god. He's our father, the father of bass. He's like everybody's dad, And I had a great time touring with him and touring with War and Tower. We would do a lot of shows, and I always try to catch Rocco and ask him, hey, can you show me something? He'll be like, I'm not show you anything. Just sit down on the side of the stage and watch. All right. So
how's he doing? How's his health?
He's good. He's made out of rock. Rocco's made out of rock. I mean, he's like Darth Vader with all kinds of parts. He's still playing. He's not playing with Tower anymore, but he's active. I see him around, and I'm actually planning on calling him to just go hang out. But Uncle Rocco is a touring guy, so he likes the touring. So I don't know if that's gonna affect his health.
Tell me more about you and what you're doing.
Well, right now, I moved out to the East Coast for a year and a half. I was teaching over there at a huge music school. I had a contemporary music program playing modern bass, like Rocco, B.B. Dickerson, Family Man, in Massachusetts. But then I came back because with my band, Dig Infinity, of 20 years, this is my best friends all of our lives, and we've always had a band but never had the money to put it out. We landed an incredible gig with Facebook, and we are writing music for their sound collection for Africa and for Latin America. A recent of 12 songs a month, over 100 songs written in a year already. and it's paying the bills really well, and it's keeping us creative.
Yours or theirs?
All of us, everybody. So what we do now with my friends, the writers, we open a corporation, a production house. So now we have a production house, and we're producing a ton of music every month, and putting a little money aside for our band. So now we're getting ready to kick this new project, Dig Infinity, which is outstanding. I'll send you the first single. It's already uploaded on Facebook, and that's what we want to do now. It's a mix of heavy, mix of war, reggae. We have a lot of trajectory like that with my friends, so we're happy.
Where would somebody go on Facebook if they wanted to hear your music?
It's called the Facebook Sound Collection, right? So you just go Facebook Sound Collection, and it'll bring you to it's soft launch. It's not fully launched right now, but you can get it. All the music is already uploaded, hundreds of songs under Dig Infinity or Colectivo with a K. That's more like on the pop side of things. Dig Infinity is more like the funky stuff, but since we're servicing 2 billion people, we have to write everything. So the learning curve for the last year, I had to go with a drummer who's a scholar, Paul Gonzalez. He plays with Cartai and other people. We had to go into Brazil and get, okay, what is timbal? What is forró? What is, bayo? What is, samba, partido alto? We had to learn all this so we can generate music.
You mean you don't know?
I'm a punk. I'm a rocker. But now
Remind me of my Florida years, my Miami days when we used to.
Now I do. Now they gave us Africa, so now we're starting. I just did a whole Afrobeat submission, a lot of Fela Kuti stuff, a lot of Ethiopian jazz we're doing now, like Mulatu Atsatske. He's got a doctorate degree with Berkeley now. It's an all Ethiopian jazz thing, and it's amazing. So it's keeping us. I'm not touring anymore yet. But it's keeping us at home,
That is fascinating because, after a while, everything turns into a blues or a 1-4-5 or a rock thing. But this kind of thing with all these different influences and then influences within influences, the Latin thing, the African thing, I bet it's never boring, huh?
I couldn't do it with any other band. JB Echo and Paul Gonzalez, my partners, are insane. JB Echo produced the Supernatural album for Santana. This is a kid that, he's been around. And Paul, he's the top LA Latin drummer in town. Cartaya's drummer, like he only calls Paul. It pisses me off. He's my drummer too, Oscar. Anyway, so we're doing that. I did go on the road with Rex Brown from Pantera. I was playing bass for him because he has a rock project where
he plays guitar also.
So I'm his.
He does some singing too.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's full on rock, hard rock, and I'm doing bass for that project. I'm in the band, and
I love Rex. I just got a text from him a few hours ago. In fact, we're trying to hook up here.
Uncle Rex is a great influence on my playing as a rocker, because when Pantera was out there, it was the only rock band where you could actually hear the bass. You could hear the bass during the guitar solo. And I fell in love with that, and now playing with him is a trip just to be on stage with my bass. And I look and it's Rex Brown with a guitar. I'm like, why am I playing bass for Rex?
Speaking of your bass, I did mention that we're sitting here in the G&L booth, and you are now with G&L.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about your G&L bass.
Well, first of all, if you're in California and you don't own a G&L bass, you're missing out big time. Because this is the real sound of rock and roll, or, well, let's put it this way. What's behind me, it's what Leo Fender envisioned during the 60s and 70s. But he couldn't put it out through CLF or Fender, so he started G&L, and now we have like 3 generations of precision basses. We have 2 generations of jazz basses. We have active pickups, passive pickups. We have precision basses with precision basses and Music Man sounds. Their finishes, everything is handmade, everything is hand finished. The ladies are hand coiling the pickups that Leo picked 30 years ago. There's the same ladies. So there's the sensitivity of the craftsmanship of the industry is incredible. When I joined G&L, I went to the lady that coils the pickups. And I said, she's a Mexican lady. And I go, gracias. ¿Qué es lo que hace con sus micrófonos? ¿Cómo suenan también? Y dice, yo solo le pongo amor, mijito. Yo solo le pongo amor. That's what she said. I only put love into my pickups. nothing else. And I was like, that's awesome. Then another thing that I was mentioning, I'm a GNL artist, where this is the only place that doesn't even have one freaking 5-string bass behind me. I'm a 4-string player. I don't see them. They have them. They do build them. Amazing, but I don't see them here. I think they're waiting for people to learn how to play the 4 strings good before they add another one, But we're coming out with a signature model. It's probably going to be something around that with a new LB CLF research bass, which has Alnico precision sound, the SB1 ceramic precision sound, which got more punch, and a Music Man sound on it. So it's a very versatile bass for the studio, because you got the finger, very ballsy precision sound ceramic, and then you have the Music Man stuff for a slap or a pick, or like the Pino sound. And I've been using that it's got over 80 songs on Facebook, that song already, like I use it all the time through a Ready. I plug it through a Pete Designs Ready Tube DI directly into Pro Tools, and that's how I make my living. I don't need anything else,
What about the rest of your gear? What kind of strings do you play?
I'm endorsed with the Adario strings right now. I've been endorsed with them for a while, and they're a great company. They're a green company too. They're pro environment, and I love that. Then I'm endorsing Form Factor audio amplification, which to me is by far the best amp in the market right now for solid state. For tubes, it's a different story.
So what's the Andre? Right?
Andre and Gary at the bass shop. Gary.
What about amps?
Amps is Form Factor audio.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Form Factor audio, amps and cabinets, A Designs, Tube DI, and preamps for the studio.
I don't mean amps, I mean effects.
Effects, I got Line 6 and Chase Bliss right in front. And then my guitar player just bought me the Boss guitar synth, and it works great on bass because it has a setup for tracking bass, so there's no latency on the synths, and then you can control the synth, and so you can have real bass, but with just a little bit of Moog sound on the bottom, which is great. I'll send you a song with Dig Infinity of me using that. I'll put it on the mail.
Please do. What about the future, Pancho? It looks like you've got the foreseeable future mapped out, and Facebook is keeping you pretty busy, and your side projects are keeping you busy. But is there a specific project, or is there something that you said, one of these days I'm gonna fill in the blank?
Well, I'm very pro-education, and I'm pro-humanitarian causes a lot. So I'm just waiting to reach a certain platform of maybe fame or power, so I can really start doing what the world needs to be done,
Well, now that you're on for BassPlayersOnly.com.
That's a huge platform. So, that's what we want. It's pretty much to reach to a point where we can really start helping, whether it's through education or charity, And that's, remember, musicians, this is a career of service, not fame.
Especially for bass players.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You can do a lot of gigs, but you can't do a lot of gigs without a bass player. So, to me, that's just the way I see it. This is service to me, So once I'm ready and I feel like I'm ready to give out and give more, than we will, So I think that's the future.
That is beautiful. And when I hear a comment like that, part of my brain just immediately thinks of Africa. And you mentioned the African music. Is that all stuff that you're going to do from online and research and things like that? Or might you have an opportunity to actually visit Africa?
Well, I would love to visit Africa, just to go, just to see it, grab the soil and rub it on my face and see what's up, But look at him, there he is. Leave my drummer alone.
You mentioned Cartaya.
Yeah,
There's
come here.
Oscar with a K, Cartaya.
Look, just show your face.
No. I can't interrupt.
Hey,
Hi, everyone. How you doing?
Let me see, are your ears burning?
Do you know what? When I interviewed this man,
He doesn't talk about me.
your son came and crawled up on your lap.
It's still there. But
Hey guys, meet one of the greatest
Mateo.
bass players
Mateo.
in the fucking world right here.
Yo recuerdo.
Big influence for all of us. And
Tomás.
Nah, man.
Punching.
Very, very, a lot of legend right there,
We,
bro.
we must be at a NAMM show. You never know who's going to pop it. Great to see you, Oscar.
Oscar.
We need to do a follow-up interview, too.
Defender, come to GNL.
All right.
All right.
That
was Oscar.
That was great. Let me ask you one more question. Don't put your glasses down like that. That bothers me. You can scratch the lenses.
John Liebman. John Liebman, everybody.
What would you be if you weren't a bass player? It's something outside of music.
A farmer. Easy. I always wanted to grow back. As a matter of fact, last year in Massachusetts, I was taking care of Grandpa's farm. So I was growing all kinds of vegetables. I wasn't growing weed.
I was going to ask you, what would you grow? But
I had 3 kinds of cucumbers. I had watermelon, melon, kale.
I didn't know there were 3 kinds of
Oh,
cucumbers.
man, there's more than 3 kinds of cucumbers. And we were pickling. We were, I had an herb patch. We got sage. We got all kinds of stuff. So I got the king. Now I'm in Northridge. I live in a place that has the ability to have a farm garden in it. So I grow my veggies too. And I don't know, farming. I love being outside, and I don't know. It's so random. So random.
It's always so much fun talking to you.
I
Congratulations.
think last time you asked me that question, I said drummer. But I've noticed that drummers don't make that much money, so farming will be better.
I think Ed Friedland said that. I said, what would you be if you weren't a musician? He said a drummer. So-
Guys, Ed Liebman, man, a big, big name on bass playing, guys, and also a badass player. Buy his books because they're full of great information, man, all right? Take care.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Johnny, thank you.
On location with our good friend Pancho Tomaselli
And check out those GNLs, too.
at
Sorry
the
for interrupting.
at the
but-
GNL booth at the 2019 Winter NAMM show in Anaheim, California. Watch for the signature. Is it going to be called the Pancho bass? The Pancho Tom?
I don't know.
The signature
The
bass for.
immigrant bass, I'll call it.
I'm John Liebman. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Johnny.